high would be too high of a body count for a girl to where you would think guys might reconsider getting married to them, right? Where you're like, maybe guys would be like, that's a little too high. Can we get a number?
I think more than 20.
More than 20?
Yeah, I think more than 20. Like about marriage, more than 20, yeah.
What about you?
I'd say like 100.
Why are so many guys obsessed with a woman's body count? Let me tell you a little story. There's a girl who I'm friends with who has a pretty high body count. And when she finally met a guy that she wanted to be in a relationship with, he wanted to be in one with her too, but he didn't want to put the label of boyfriend and girlfriend on it because he was a bit intimidated by the amount of guys she had been with before him. The problem is that he just wasn't pulling girls at the rate that he thought he would be. So she waited year after year hoping that he would change his mind in this weird ambiguous place where they were dating but not dating. And all it did was breed more anger and resentment on his end because he wasn't able to match her number. He cared about her. He wanted to be with her, but this was the thing that held them back from having a healthy and happy relationship. And I think a lot of guys who paint themselves into this corner where they are worried about a girl's body count do nothing but invite stress into their own lives, become more susceptible to myths and stereotypes, and overall just take a negative perspective on dating in general.
The whole debate around sexual history and its impact on relationships is like walking into a minefield twisted by societal double standards and personal insecurities. On one hand, some people are out there preaching that a person's past shouldn't matter at all. On the other, you've got those who argue that shared values and compatibility are key, and let's be honest, for many men, that translates to prefer women with a low or even zero body count. It's not just a subjective opinion. It's a hard reality for a lot of guys out there. Sure, trust and communication are the cornerstones of any solid relationship, but if someone feels the need to hide or sugarcoat their past, it's probably waving a big red flag. Building trust is supposed to go both ways, right? Being upfront about your history could lead to a more genuine connection, but how often does that really happen? Let's not kid ourselves.
How much of a body count are we talking here when we're talking, like, can you tell us like the top 3 you've heard from some girls?
The highest I've ever heard from a girl, it was like 340 something.
What? 340 something? The highest I've ever heard is like 100, and I thought that was the craziest number.
Where are you hearing that from? I've heard way higher too.
Then what?
Then like 340. I've heard like, I'm just saying 100's the highest you've heard.
Yeah. And I thought that was crazy.
It was around 340. I think it was like 346 if I remember exactly.
What about some other high numbers? Any
Unless
like
it's
100
small.
plus?
Yeah, there's a few of those for sure.
A few 100 plus.
What's your body count?
4.
How do you feel about that?
I feel fine. I don't think body counts matter.
What is your body count?
Can't really be quantified in numbers.
What's your body count?
3. 2.
Who's the best one out of 3?
1.
Why?
Because I was with him for 2 years.
And what about you?
Number 2.
What happened to number 1?
He was a bit of a twat.
And speaking of red flags, the hysteria around false accusations is no joke. One unfounded claim can destroy a man's career, reputation, and future in the blink of an eye. The mess of campus policies proves just how messed up the system is. Failing to protect both the accuser and the accused, you'd think we could figure out a way to support real victims while also safeguarding the rights of the accused. But nope. Society's still fumbling that one. Feminism? Oh, it's a mixed bag of contradictions. Some feminists are focused on tackling gender-based violence while others are busy pushing their own questionable agendas. Navigating these waters requires more than just lip service. It demands real, nuanced conversations. But good luck having those when everyone's shouting over each other. The potential misuse of false claims is a ticking time bomb, and pretending it's not an issue is just naive. Balancing respect for genuine survivors with the reality of false accusations should be a no-brainer. Yet, here we are. For men who are serious about long-term relationships and who see through the chaos, it might be worth checking out different cultural perspectives. Take a look at the values in places like the Middle East, Eastern Europe, or Southeast Asia, they offer a refreshing contrast to the craziness of Western dating dynamics. And here's the kicker. Suggesting that a woman's worth for marriage is tied to her body count might sound harsh, but guess what? A lot of guys think that way. People's pasts are nuanced, sure, but these assumptions didn't come out of thin air. Relationships are complicated, and with feminism's ever-evolving narrative, it's not getting any easier to figure out where everyone stands. The advice to achieve financial stability and explore different cultures makes sense if you're serious about broadening your horizons and finding a better match. But let's be honest, don't just start pinning places on a map thinking you'll magically stumble upon a submissive Stepford wife. Actually, take the time to understand these cultures instead of naively assuming that every woman outside the West is waiting to serve you on a silver platter. Sure, there are plenty of studies out there on relationships and promiscuity, but reducing a woman's potential for a healthy, monogamous bond solely to her past experiences is like using a sledgehammer for brain surgery. Healthy relationships are about communication, trust, and mutual understanding, concepts that seem to fly right over the heads of many modern feminists who think they can sleep their way through life and still expect Prince Charming to come swooping in at the end. False accusations, yeah, those are no joke and need a fair approach. Exploring different cultural contexts can open your eyes, but don't get sucked into overly simplistic views on relationships. Everyone's journey is different, and not every woman's past reads like a chapter out of a feminist manifesto. Understanding a partner's past, especially when it comes to promiscuity, can be a deal breaker for many men when thinking long term. The idea that women with a promiscuous past might struggle with monogamy isn't just some outdated myth. There's actual research backing it up. And let's not sugarcoat it. The dating market is brutal. Keeping yourself attractive and being mindful of your notch count is crucial. If you've racked up a sky-high count, don't be shocked if men see red flags instead of wife material, asking about a woman's notch count. Good luck getting the truth. Society has wrapped these so-called liberated women in so much cotton wool, you're more likely to get a heavily edited version of their past. Instead, try asking about her wild 20s indirectly. You might get closer to the truth without triggering an emotional meltdown over something she should be upfront about in the first place. And let's not forget the cynicism. If a woman keeps her body count under wraps, the age-old advice is to multiply whatever number she gives by 5. This little tactic isn't just snide, it's rooted in the belief that societal pressure and judgment practically force women to lie about their sexual history because, let's be honest, honesty and transparency are clearly overrated in relationships, right? There's some real irony here. Women love to claim that their pasts don't matter, yet they conveniently forget that they often prefer men who've made sound decisions in their pasts, especially when it comes to finances. Despite all the feminist chatter, deep down, women do care about a man's history. Think of it like flipping a biased coin that almost always lands the same way. That's how someone's past behavior predicts their future actions. Believing that people will suddenly change overnight is just naive. And then there's the broader societal issue, particularly in the legal system where inconsistency and unfairness reign supreme. Some men walk free due to a lack of evidence, while others get convicted with the same level of proof. This isn't just bad luck. This concludes our A4 anonymous coverage for the day. Click that like button, please. Make sure you hit that notification bell in addition to subscribing. Leave a comment telling us what you think. Have a great day tomorrow.